Shut up, fool!
Hey, man! This makes sense!
Anyone's ready to die.
No, Satan, I don't boast about my atheism. It's a free gift. I did nothing. I did nothing. Satan, not everybody has the gift, the abilities that I have gotten from the universe. So you can't blame them. Well, yeah, of course they are stupid sometimes, but you know, the whole critical reasoning skills and so forth, like you either got it or you don't, right? Yeah, you can't. It's like asking someone with no legs to run. They can't run. You can't blame them. In the same way, I shouldn't take credit for my atheism. It's just a free gift. Yeah, I do realize some atheists boast about it. Not me. I'm not the boasting type. No, really, I'm not. Like, look at Aaron Ra. Yeah, like you take one look at him and he boasts about his atheism. Matt Dillahunty. Those guys are pretty arrogant about their atheism, but not me. No, I realize that, not everybody can be as good as me. Yeah, okay, I was being a little sarcastic there. I'm just kidding. Can't you guys take a joke? Welcome to the PineCreek. I was about to say podcast, but this is not a podcast. This is just me on video. Mr. Wallace, hi. Yeah, you are first. 10,000 Pine Points because of the Federal Reserve putting trillions of money and Pine Points into the system and causing inflation, so your meat prices go up. Even vegans are feeling the pain. 10,000 Pine Points to you. B. Burr, yes, thumbs up to you. 5,000 Pine Points, and your best buddy gets 1,000 Pine Points. And Ray, I actually know Ray. I play poker with him often, and he's fourth today. Ray, I don't know if you can come to poker anymore. I mean, because that loserness is going to rub off on me during poker coming from you. My goodness. Just go. Ray, I know you're about my age. Go take a nap. That's what for me, it was either take a nap or go live. Once you get to my age, those are your options. Yeah, either take a nap or go live stream. Those are the only two options at my age. But yeah, I think you should just leave, take a nap. I want to play a clip from Trinity Radio because I really like these guys. And they're going to talk about deconstruction. And I thought this was hilarious, which is in theme with my opening monologue.
That you take a long jump from this that I was taught growing up, I think now was wrong. So I guess atheism is the way it is. No. You know that God's worked in your life.
You do?
You out there, you're that person that's deconstructing. I want to speak directly to you. You know what
I see that hand. I see that heart.
God's done in your life. You know those moments when you, I'm not a mystical guy, but you felt God.
You're not a mystical guy? You're the definition of mystical guy. If you define mysticism as the spiritualness, you believe in spiritual warfare, battles of good and evil. You believe that God, the inner witness of the inner witness of the Holy Spirit, the testimony of the Holy Spirit. You believe all this stuff. If that's what you mean by mysticism, you are very mystical.
God in the midst of worship and prayer, and you feel like you got a word from God, and you remember your salvation, and the thing.
You feel you got a word from God. Yeah, it's sounding. I think Jonathan Pritchett's rubbing off on you, Braxton. That's Pentecostal talk. I got a word from God. No, it's usually someone else gives you a word from God. God told me to tell you. You know, a lot of Christians, they laugh at Pentecostals when they say stuff like this, but yet they believe it in the New Testament. Hey, you Pentecostals, you realize that, right? I mean, you non-Pentecostals, you laugh at Pentecostals with all this. God told me, I have a word from God. Well, the Apostle Paul said the same thing. You don't laugh at him.
Thing is, you can hold on to that while still testing other aspects of what you believe.
No, you can't hold on you can't hold on to that at all, Braxton. And here's why. Because there's many beliefs that you deem false who will claim these spiritual experiences. There are many spiritual experiences that are contradictory in attribution to yours. So they both can't be right. So just imagine yourself talking to a belief system that you think is false. Just remember the times when Vishnu was near to you, when you called upon Brahma or whatever, and you got that answer. Just remember those times when you're deconstructing. You know. Doesn't work then, does it? But somehow it works in Christianity. Hey, thank you for the donation, Stephen Artez. Been watching for a year. Happy New Year. I haven't lost my faith yet. Keep trying, though. Oh, I love a challenge, Stephen. You don't mind if I try, right? Like I from your donation and from your comments, Stephen, I'm getting the impression you kind of want me to try. But I want you to know, Stephen, that if I'm successful in getting you out of your faith, that I shouldn't boast, you shouldn't boast. It's been a free gift from the universe to you. And it's just the way it is. Maybe you just don't have what it takes, Stephen. Like maybe you're that person who has no legs and I'm asking you to run. I don't know. I don't know what kind of disabilities you have in the brain. That was rude. I mean, for myself, I even hear myself and say that was rude. But why don't we strike up a deal here? I can tell you're British. Why don't you come on in and we'll talk? Right, Stephen? And I'll be very sneaky about it. I won't even try. By not trying, I'll be more effective, I think. But I mean, if you believe what you believe is sincerely true, there's nothing I can say to change your mind, really. So why not just come in? Maybe I'll become a Christian today. Thank you for the donation, Joshua Bakradzi. Please unhide Canadian Catholic from the live stream chat. I don't know how, honestly. You saw me, I did even screen captured. He's unblocked from the comment section. But once I block you on live stream, you're done for good. You got to open up a new account if you want back in. I'm serious. I've tried. I know how to do it, but those names don't come up. You have to go to Google, and then you have to. Google makes it next to impossible to unblock people from live stream chats. So be very careful. If you get blocked from live stream chats, you might be gone forever. Okay, let's get back to what matters.
And that can be a healthy thing.
Stephen says, I'm at work, maybe next time. No, you, Stephen, this is important. You go to your boss, say, I need 20 minutes off. Someone's eternal destiny is at stake. And then you hop on.
And you can come out on the other side a stronger person. But to connect to what I've said to you in another podcast, Chip, I would say, while you're doing this, because I know about you, I'm sure about you. If you're a genuine thinker out there who claims to have been a Christian and had a Christian experience, you've had an encounter with Christ yourself. What I would say to such a person, Chip.
Well, no, see, Braxton, you're getting it all wrong. People who used to be Christians and who are no longer, they would not say they had an encounter with Christ, right? They would say that at one time they believed they did, but now upon reflection, say they didn't. This is not difficult stuff, Braxton. Braxton, I am a very confident guy. I can look at your life and you can tell me about, well, you've already said publicly experiences you've had that's given you confidence that Christianity is true. I can look you right in the eyes and say, I'm 99% sure that had nothing to do with a God. Nothing. Now, I would love to talk to you why I think that exactly. And I would love to ask you outsider test for faith questions that I think will make you squirm a little bit. But the problem is you won't even give me the opportunity. See, I asked on Twitter today, are there Christian versions of PineCreek out there? Where it's just impromptu, no scheduling, no planning, just, hey, I'm here. If you want to talk to me, come on in. And I know someone's waiting right now. I haven't even looked. But where's the PineCreek version of Braxton Hunter? Why aren't you guys doing this? And when you do it, do what I do. Do what I do. I say, atheists, stay away. I don't want to talk to you. You're boring. I just want Muslims and Christians and Jews and Hindus or whatever to come in. Do that. Maybe that will help with this whole deconstructing business. Same with you, Jonathan. Get off that comfy chair, get on live stream, and like I know you guys have a spare hour during the day. Just impromptu, live stream. Okay, atheists call in. One-on-one. And then also, here's my advice. Apologists talk way too much. If you look at my history of interviews, I'm mostly asking questions. And by definition, then, I'm doing less talking than the person I'm talking with. Do the same. Shut up for a second and just ask questions and listen. Now, I know a lot of apologists agree with what I just said, but they just find it so difficult to do it in practice because they got such a wealth of knowledge that these poor atheists don't know, and they have to share it.
Is do that in community with brothers and sisters.
Yeah, you're right, Nicholas. They do this, but super chats only.
Sisters in Christ. Share with them what's going on. Point. And I think you'll come out with a stronger faith in the end.
What do you say to somebody out there listening?
Absolutely, because that's how
the guy on the left is just the stereotypical pastor. I mean, maybe I'm a sort of a racist for saying this in some strange way or a bigot, but it's just like when you think of a middle-aged pastor, you think of that guy. Like, look at the shoes. I mean, and just so sweet. Oh, so sweet. It's so sweet to trust in Jesus.
Ties back to what I said about deconstructing my faith is such a privatized, individualized thing, right? And the church is. This is a popular thing.
Is it just me or is it... Jonathan, I like you. You know I like you. And like, we're best buds. But it does often sound like you're talking with cotton balls in your mouth.
It's not happening in a vacuum. That is the buzzword. People are deconstructing. It's so individualized, though. And then when you, like he said, grasp onto their stories, we're responding to them because one of the things that we've noticed in these deconstructions is they're not happening in community where I think it's safer to do it in community, but we have to own this.
Why is that? Why aren't these deconstructions happening within community? He's saying, well, if you stay in your bubble, these things don't happen. Well, of course not. I mean, if you're around like-minded people all the time, you're not challenging your faith, and when you do challenge it, you're doing it only with people who are going to try to confirm what you already believe. And if there's this deep-seated root of fear that if you do deconstruct, there's major consequence. Of course, like, you got to get out of the church to see the church more clearly. This is why I always say you have to become dead inside in a way. You have to stop loving Jesus to realize, to look at the evidence for Jesus more objectively. Thanks for the donation, Joshua. Again, I am CC. I am sad I won't be unhidden. Oh, yeah, okay, I didn't notice. So that's your real last name. Interesting. What is that? Is that Ukrainian?
As a church, because we haven't provided that space where they could deconstruct the kind that he said he went through with his theological, viewpoints and where am I going to land when I'm done with this. I'm still going to land as a Christian, but I may change here on my view of salvation or age of the earth or whatever. But because we don't provide spaces for that to do in community in the churches, these people are having the privatized deconstruction experiences, and what they are deconstructing, the Christianity that they're deconstructing, is also on us because it's paper thin that we didn't do a good job building them up in the faith. So take a Catholic priest who has an earned doctorate, steeped in 10 to 12 years of Thomist education from top to bottom. After 15 years has a deconstruction, he leaves the faith. To me, he's earned his atheism. The people we've been responsible
10, 15 years of deconstructing, going into all the theology and the philosophy. Yeah, okay, only then you've earned your atheism. I mean, how many stories have I heard of people going to a Christian rock concert or a revival meeting and, sort of familiar with Christianity, but not really, not committing to Jesus Christ. And then they hear this great sermon and the music, the music and the ambiance and the people crying and hands in the air. And then they become a Christian within minutes. Decades. Jonathan Pritchett wants decades to get out of Christianity, but minutes to get into it is fine. Or would you say that, Jonathan? Well, Christianity's true, right? So if it takes 60 seconds, then that's great.
responding to, you didn't earn that. But it's also because you have the things you're talking through, we can swat like flies, right? So,
yeah.
But that's again on the church, because not only do we provide a space for people to think through these issues within community, we also didn't give them a much.
No. Okay, for all Christians listening right now, or on the replay, do the exact opposite of what Jonathan and Braxton are saying. The exact opposite. If you value truth, and if Christianity is true, it will withstand you leaving church for a time to investigate your beliefs. It will. If it's true. You don't have to stay in the comfort within the community. You leave your community. Do the exact opposite of what Jonathan says if you value truth. Thanks, my one black friend. Hello, everyone. Bakaradze is a Georgian last name. Oh, really? I have friends with that last name. Georgian.
To think through or deconstruct, that it was rather easy for them to deconstruct their faith because the church didn't provide them a framework that was robust enough to have a lot to detangle there. And it should be the struggle of the Catholic priest of 20 years with also an extra 10 years of education who has to rethink everything to get to that place that took him a long time to deconstruct. These deconstruction stories and these people are doing it over the matter of weeks and months. It should take...
Well, for me, it took 5 years.
Years to detangle yourself from a robust Christian worldview in order to think it's plausible that God doesn't exist. These people can come...
Yeah, you see, and here's confusing. Like, Muslims have the same problem, many Muslims. It's inconceivable to Jonathan that God could exist and Christianity is as false as Scientology. I mean, it's really hard for Jonathan to imagine that. It's not hard for a Muslim or a Jew to imagine that Christianity is as false as Scientology, but it's very hard for Christians to imagine that.
To that conclusion because they watched a video about dinosaurs.
Now, I think Jonathan Pritchett is thinking about Paulogia when he says this. Am I wrong? Because didn't Paulogia say something like this? That was the first impetus, the first roll of the ball down the hill about dinosaurs and the age of the earth because he was doing research on that. Yeah, I think he's poo-pooing Paulogia.
Yeah,
and it made them think about something for the first time.
You are an American treasure, Jonathan.
Yeah.
So we need to make it.
He earned his atheism.
Yeah, that's right.
Our discipleship should make this nearly impossible for anyone to deconstruct their way out of Christianity, and it should make it accessible to where they can deconstruct their own theological views and find space to.
Man, can you imagine a Muslim saying this? right in front of Jonathan's face.
Earn his atheism.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
Our discipleship should make this nearly impossible for anyone to can.
The imams, the Muslim apologists, should make it almost impossible for a Muslim to leave Islam. And then when these doubts and ideas come about, it should be done within the context of the community of Islam. See, Christians, it's very easy to really see the problem with that when I put it that way, right? Extremely easy. No, they need to get out of their bubble in order to see. I mean, but no, with Christianity, you got to stay in it.
Construct their way out of Christianity, and it should make it accessible to where they can deconstruct their own theological views and find space to maybe adopt a different view than they had started.
Yeah. Okay, who do we got here? Nobody. Okay, good. I mean, not good, but if you're a Christian or a Muslim, you want to call in. I even like Jews. I do. In fact, I like Jews more than Christians. I like Jews more than Muslims. You know why? Fiddler on the Roof. Okay, this got my dopamine levels up a little bit. This is Red Pen Logic, came out yesterday.
Only anti-choice Christians don't know that in the Bible, God quite literally instructs abortions. So let's turn to the good book, shall we? I have two. So in Numbers chapter 5, God instructs that if a man suspects that his wife has been unfaithful, he is to take his wife to a priest. The priest is to bring his wife before God and give her a bitter water. It even tells you how they made the
I love the seriousness of Tim here.
water. Now keep in mind that all of this is performed right in front of God and instructed by him. You can pause to read, but down here, may this water that brings a
You can just tell that this woman speaking here used to be a homeschooled fundamentalist Christian and is now an atheist. She has that homeschool look, doesn't she? Oh, that's mean.
curse enter your body so that your abdomen swells and your womb miscarries. If she's made herself impure and been unfaithful to her husband, this will be the result. When she is made to drink the water that brings a curse and causes a bitter suffering, it will enter her, her abdomen will swell, and her womb will miscarry, and she will become a curse. If, however, the woman has not made herself impure, but is clean, she will be cleared of guilt and will be able to have children. That is a forced abortion. Don't you dare tell me I'm taking that out of context.
Numbers 5 has become the go.
Oh, and he didn't. So it must be in context. Thanks for the donation, Fred Harvey. Why aren't you a Muslim, Jonathan? Why aren't you a Hindu or a Buddhist, a pagan, or a Jainist? Have you spent 10 years studying these and more? Well, Fred Harvey, come on. Jonathan's not a Muslim because Islam's false. Jonathan's not a Hindu because Hinduism is false. Buddhism is false. Paganism is false. Jainism is false. If it were true, if those things were true, then Jonathan would be that.
Go-to passage to try to show that the Bible is actually pro-abortion, but it doesn't work for two reasons. First, while I appreciate her quoting from the Bible to make her case, there's actually a disagreement among Bible translators over how this text should be translated. Notice she has two Bibles, but she only read from one, the New International Version. I think I know why.
Okay, and for atheists who weren't paying attention, because I know, you atheists tend to nod off. It's basically, the story is, or the moral of this story is, a woman cheats on her husband. It doesn't matter if a man cheats on his wife, but a married woman cheats on her husband, and the husband going, I can smell that Stetson on my wife. I smell Stetson on my wife. I think she's been cheating on me. So he grabs his wife by the hair on her back, because women had hair on their backs back then, and drugs her, if you're from Alabama, to the priest and says, hey, I think my wife's been cheating on me. Ask God if this is true, because I don't want to have coitus with my wife who smells of another man's Stetson. So the priest says, okay, here's what I'll do. And he takes some water and he pours some stuff in it and he stirs it up. He says, hey, God told me to do this. God told me that if you slept with a man and you drink this water, now this is where Tim's going to get into this. We're not quite sure what it means, but it definitely means something bad is going to happen to your reproductive areas. You're either going to become barren. No, you're going to, It says in the King James, it says your thigh to rot. Like, who speaks that way anymore? Thigh to rot. But what it really means is your uterus, your fallopian tubes, your ovaries, everything down there that's important to a woman is going to shrivel up and die. Now I got to say, I think today I have to say it 5 times for Tim. Usually with the average Christian, I say it 3 times. But for Tim, I'm going to say it 5 times. If that woman did indeed cheat against her husband and did have coitus with another man, and if she is pregnant, guess what happens? That pregnant woman will no longer be pregnant. That baby in her tummy will die because God told the priest to tell the woman that if you drink this water, blah, blah, blah. So in other words, what this is saying is it's a threat. God is telling the priest to threaten the woman. You tell the truth. It's like a truth serum, really. You know, I watched Kill Bill 2 the other day. And the guy, he had this magnificent truth serum that he shot a dart into Beatrice's leg, and so she was compelled to tell the truth. Well, this is God's truth serum, this magical drink, this bitter tasting water. If you're lying to me and drink this, you're no longer going to have kids again. And if there's a baby in you at that time, which, you know, can happen, you've had coitus with someone else, then that baby will die. Now, if the woman believes this is just magic and doesn't believe in really God has anything to do with this, she might think, yeah, I did have coitus, and yeah, I might be pregnant, but I don't care. I'm going to drink this water. It doesn't matter. God's not going to scare me. So this is what, if the woman is guilty and drinks it, this is what she's thinking. If she believes the priest, she's never going to drink that water because she doesn't want to kill the baby. And if she refuses to drink the water, then it makes her look guilty. So this is really a very ingenious way for a Levite priest to get a woman to tell the truth, threaten her with the death and barrenness of her uterus, death of a child.
You see, the majority of Bibles do not translate those verses that way. Virtually every other Bible translation, including the New Living Translation that she held up in the video, make no mention of a miscarriage. That's because
Yeah, that's an argument from silence, right? See, remember how many times Christians accuse atheists of using arguments from silence? Well, here's an example of a Christian using an argument from silence to their benefit. But think, Tim, think. If she did have coitus and if she's pregnant, then yeah, that baby's going to die, right? Under God's decree.
Most Bible translators think the thigh falling away or the womb shriveling is a more accurate rendering of the original Hebrew. They also think that expression is describing barrenness, not miscarriage. That's why if she's innocent, the text says she should be able to have children. By contrast, if she's guilty, she won't be able to have children.
Right. And if she's guilty and she's pregnant, then that baby will die, right? Right, Tim? See, this is why I think guys like Tim wouldn't come on a channel like mine, because I'll ask him that question, point blank. True or false? If that woman is pregnant at that time, she drinks that drink, and if she's indeed guilty of coitus beyond with someone else other than her husband, that baby will die. True or false? I wonder how easily Tim could say true. Tim, are you listening? Can you say true very quickly? I think you can, because all what he's talking about now about different translations is meaningless. The real issue is coming up next.
So this passage, in all likelihood, has to do with a curse of barrenness, not miscarriage. Second, even if the NIV translation is correct and God is inducing a miscarriage, this still wouldn't justify abortion. Here's why. This woman isn't exercising her right to choose. Instead, God is exercising his right to judge. This bitter water, given
see, this is the issue. This is why I don't even understand why Christians get upset when atheists or non-Christians bring up the Numbers 5. They should just go straight to this. Well, yeah, okay. If the one's pregnant, then yeah, God's aborting the baby. God's God. He can do what he wants. Deal with it. That's what you should lead with, Tim. You should agree with the homeschool lady and say, yeah, if God wants to kill babies, that's up to him. Just shut up and take it. Right, Tim? Lead with that next time.
The priest isn't causing a miscarriage. These aren't God's instructions for abortion. After all, if she's innocent,
Well, no, these are God's instructions for killing her womb, which if there's a baby in it, will kill the baby as well if she's indeed guilty, right? I know there's a lot of ifs in there, but you can keep up.
the water does nothing. Rather, it's God who is taking that life.
Right.
Look, God's the creator and sustainer of all life and has the right to take life at any time he wants. But just because God can take life doesn't mean we can.
Yeah, just because God has the right to take life doesn't mean we can. Unless God commands people to do it, right? Don't forget that part. If God commands people to take other people's lives, then it's okay, right? Of course that's right. And I know Tim believes this. But an interesting question I've always had, even when I was a Christian, is, no, I'm not against homeschooling. I homeschool my own daughter. The whole issue of taking life is wrong. Only God can take life. But yet we humans save lives all the time. I especially think of premature babies. If it wasn't for modern medicine, almost all premature babies would die. But because of modern medicine and what man has done, a life that God meant for death is now alive. If Christians are to be, I really like this point. If I do say myself. If Christians are to be consistent, they should say both life and death is in the realm of God, and we shouldn't take life unless God said so, and we shouldn't save life unless God said so. Right? So, Christian woman listening right now, if you have a premature baby born 1 pound, 13 ounces, and you should say, no, don't put it in the incubator. Just let it be in the swaddling clothes. And if it lives, it lives. If it dies, it dies. That's up to God. Why is it that you only import God into the situation when it comes to taking of life, but not saving of life? Both are God's domain. Am I wrong? No, I'm not wrong.
So, even if the NIV is right, it's still a judgment from God, not an abortion from man.
Yeah. Would he be willing to say it's an abortion from God? Oh, I would love it, Tim, if you would have the oomph to say that. If abortion is the deliberate killing of the unborn, which if you Google it, that's what you'll find, then God is the abortionist. That's the only quibble here, is who's the abortionist. Is it the woman? Is it the doctor? Is it the priest? Or is it God? Tim's saying it's God. And then it's okay. See, these types of issues is what just really grinds the cognitive dissonant gears. Because in most Christians' intuitions, they view the killing of the baby in the womb as wrong, wrong, wrong. And I don't even think a lot of Christians can go where Tim just went and saying, well, when God is the abortionist, then it's okay. They would say, no, God would never do that, Doug. No. The God I know, getting back to Braxton Hunter here with the mystical experiences, the God I know through these personal experiences would never kill an innocent child in the womb. Oh, really? You need to read more about the Old Testament. If God can kill toddlers and babies in the flood and with the Canaanites, then yeah, what's a few abortions here and there? And here's another thing. Since God commands people to kill other people at times in the Old Testament, and even in the New Testament, is that true? Yeah, I think that's true. The government has the power to do that. Why would you be so presumptuous, Christians, to think that every single abortion that happens is not ordained by God. Maybe it's small, but maybe out of the 1 million abortions, there's like 2 or 3 that God says, yeah, I approve of this. I want this to happen. I saw this before the creation of the universe. This is my decree that this abortion should happen. Maybe we would have had World War III and IV and V if it weren't for God aborting babies. Right? Thank God that he aborts. Thank God he's the biggest abortionist that's ever lived. Things would be so much worse if God didn't abort. This is so much fun. Whoa, thank you for the donation, Adam Albia. The keyword is relocation. Yes, relocation. Yes. You don't, Christian women listening right now and saying God would never kill a baby in the womb. You don't think of it as killing. As the great, great Frank Turek once said, babies don't die. They're just relocated into heaven.
Hey, man! This makes sense!
Yeah, it's amazing how much me and Frank are, on the same page. Jesus was aborted for our sins. Jesus was relocated for our sins. Okay, we got a caller. Let's hope it's a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew and who likes Fiddler on the Roof. What's up with my hair today? Christian caller, are you there? We'll give the Christian caller a few seconds to get his or her act together. God aborted 3 of my wife's pregnancies. Oh, how probable is that?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Otangelo. You like me, don't you?
Oh, yes, I like you, sure.
Sure. You like, okay, but is there any atheist you like more?
I've never thought about that, but I think you are one of the nicer ones.
Yeah, I agree. What would you like to say to me?
Yeah, Happy New Year. So
yeah, and then to you and your family.
Yeah, thank you.
Everybody's healthy?
Yes, we are. Thanks God. My dad is not so well. He is 86, and he has herpes zoster.
His what?
Herpes.
Helpus?
No, herpes.
Herpes?
Yes, herpes. Yes.
Herpes. What?
Herpes, yes. Herpes zoster.
Isn't that like a sexual disease?
No, that's a virus disease, but this version is not sexual.
I don't know. I'd have a talk with your dad.
Yeah, no, it has nothing to do with sexual disease. There are 2 variants.
Okay, I believe you. I believe you.
Yeah.
Well, I hope your dad does well. My dad is 83, so our dads are about the same age.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm a little bit concerned. He's not so well. He has it burns, in your face and ears, and he is scared that he can eventually even lose an eye. So it's not so a good situation.
Yeah, that's bad. It's like I can lose an ear. I think I could even lose my nose, but if I lose my eyes, I gotta see.
Yeah. So.
Anyhow, do you agree with do you agree or disagree with anything I said in my opening here?
Well, PineCreek, if we make an analysis between the 2 worldviews, one where there is a God and the other where it's not, in yours, everything starts with a dead universe. And everything ends with a dead universe. So basically, atheism, I see it like a religion of death. And we are just a byproduct, an accident in between where we are alive, but soon we will all be dead. And then in the end, there will be just death again. And
yeah, isn't that great?
No, absolutely not.
No, no, it's not terrifying. It's great.
Dead again.
It's great because you don't.
I love living.
Well, I do too, but I don't want to live forever. Do you?
I want, sure. If eternal life is better than this life and existence here, and if it is as wonderful as described in the Bible, why should I not want it?
Well, I heard that there's no sin in heaven.
Yeah, isn't
How
that
how
great?
good can heaven be if there's no sin there?
It will be perfect life because sin is everything which is bad, which makes our existence
No,
bad
no, you
here
got
on
it,
earth.
Tangelo. Let's be fair, okay? Having coitus before marriage or whatever is still fun, right? It's just sin, but it's
Well,
still fun sin, right?
well, the thing is, of course, if sinning wouldn't be attractive in some way or another, then nobody would um,
Do
sin,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody would do it.
So I'm saying
But
if
on
all
the
that attractiveness is gone in heaven, then what's attractive about heaven?
Well, the thing is that, of course, sin has also negative consequences. Like, let's say you go to the bank and you rob the bank and you go out with $100,000 which you robbed, then maybe it will give you for some time a good life. But what about the consequences of those which are traumatized by what you
Yeah,
did?
yeah, yeah, I agree. That's why when you sin, you got to do it smart.
Well, you can do it smart and it will still have negative consequences. So,
And that's not,
um,
well, not always. Don't you believe there's people who sin and get away with even murder and never get caught?
right, but what about the victim, which is dead?
Well, they're not complaining, they're dead.
Right.
Well, sorry, I'm having too much fun with this serious topic. But Tangelo, you know I know all this, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of
So we're
course.
not covering any new territory or anything. But do you, like with Tim Barnett when he was talking about Numbers 5? Do you tend to just say that that verse doesn't mean what the homeschooling girl thought it meant, or do you say, yeah, God can kill the unborn? That's up to him.
Well, I didn't see the entire stream. I just came in, and so I joined. So I didn't see the video that
Oh
you
yeah,
were
are you
showing.
familiar with Numbers 5?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, take a look at it. It's basically a verse that a lot of atheists like myself use to cause problems for Christians. To say that here's an example of God aborting a baby. You've never heard of it?
Well, probably if I read it, then I probably remember it. But I mean, you said about this that God can give and take lives, and of course it's not the same as us. If He says that we shall not murder, then if we do it, it is sin. But if God takes life for any reason that He has, since He created it, He has the right to take life. So it is different.
Do you think a premature baby is God's way of taking life?
You mean if it is naturally aborted or what?
Yeah, let's say a baby is born 3 months premature and weighs 1 pound 13 ounces. Like 1,000 years ago, if that happened, the baby would die. And I
Okay.
think if you and I were talking 1,000 years ago, we would say, "Oh, this is God's judgment. Like He didn't want this baby to live, and we just have to accept that the baby didn't live." But nowadays, with our technology, we can keep 1 pound 13 ounce premature babies alive. Are we meddling in the affairs of God by keeping these premature babies alive?
No, certainly not. And I don't think that the only explanation is that it was God's will that it died 1,000 years ago. I mean, there can many different reasons. It doesn't have to be always because God willed it or something like that.
Because I always think it's one-sided. It's like only God can take life. It's not up to man. But then it's men often save lives.
Yes, men often save lives, but in the end, if we look at it in a bigger picture, isn't it God that has given us life? I mean, look it from my worldview and perspective that God is the life giver. So shouldn't we be thankful if He gave us life for the fact that He gave it to us and that He promises us eternal life, which will be perfect and
Not
sinless and
always.
pure happiness?
I think there's probably not me, but there's probably people on this planet who regret ever being born. Don't you
Yeah,
agree?
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, there are people which are only going through suffering, and it is, of course, a difficult question to answer. Why is that so? I agree with you. I mean, there are other questions which we cannot answer. Why are people, I mean, I've been born in Switzerland, in a first world country, in a rich country, I had good education and so forth.
You're Swiss?
Yes, I'm Swiss.
And are you a dual citizen?
I have Swiss and Italian citizenship. So my parents are Italians, but I was born and grew up in
Why
Switzerland.
aren't you neutral about all these topics then? All the Swiss are neutral. You should not be for or against Christianity. You should be right down the middle.
Well, I think that the Swiss nation claims to be neutral in many situations, but if you dig a little bit deeper, then you see that it is not always so.
Yeah.
So I think it's more kind of an image that they try to maintain for some advantage, and how the world looks upon the country. But I mean, there are many things which are pretty wrong.
Sorry, I diverted you. What were you going to say about God? I forget.
Well, I think we should, I mean, I am thankful to God that I have life and that I can know him, that I can explore this world, which is so amazing, which has so many things that we can know about it, and as well that I can know God and his character and how he leads my life and the life
Okay,
of
yeah.
many others.
It sounds like you have a great life and you're glad you're alive and born, but you have children, right?
Yes.
Okay, what if God came into this live stream right now and told you that your oldest child is going to hell? That God knows that they've freely chosen and they're going to end up in hell when they die.
Yeah,
Would you? No, but here's my question. My question is, if that's true, would you want that child to have been born and brought into the world?
PineCreek, there are many what-if questions. And of course, if you think in that line of reasoning, then nobody should actually make children, right? Because, I mean...
You're right. Because of that risk.
But, yeah, because of that risk, right. But that would also prevent those which actually seek and want to have eternal life to go and have eternal life.
Well, who cares? They've never been existing, so they were not going to miss it.
But PineCreek, I don't think it is that God condemns us to hell. It is that we reject God and then we condemn ourselves.
That's a cop-out. That's a cop-out. Because if God's the creator of life and the sustainer of life, and if he chose basically to not create anyone who he knew would reject him, there'd be nobody in hell.
Well, he could, of course, create a world where we are all just pre-programmed to accept him.
I'm talking, he only creates those who he would know would freely choose him and be true Christians. Freely choose him, not robots.
I think that is a scenario which is not possible. You cannot create free creatures with free will, which then nonetheless would all choose heaven.
Oh, see, now this is interesting, because what you're admitting is that foreknowledge and free will don't go together.
I mean, I am not a Calvinist. So I believe that all those which freely surrendered to Christ, they have been selected and chosen before the creation of the world. Now, of course, I know that Calvinists, they will accuse me of being a heretic, but I don't care. That's what I believe.
Okay. Well, I want to give other people an opportunity to come in too. So thanks for hopping on.
Yeah.
Have a great new year.
Yep. Thank you. You too, PineCreek. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
See ya. Braxton Hunter, Jonathan Pritchett, you're welcome to come in. And even this guy here, who has the stereotypical Christian, lovey-dovey Christian look. I just care about your salvation. I just really care about you. He has that look to me. Why would you call Doug PineCreek if you're talking directly to him? Well, Soren Alexander, PineCreek is my alter ego. It's the suit I put on. I'm like Clark Kent. No, Clark Kent was the opposite. The real Clark Kent, the clothes he was born in was the Superman clothes. And then his alter ego was the suit. Thank you, Kill Bill. Muslims are welcome to call in too. Just not Omar. Omar, you've been here. You were here last time for an hour. Allah Akbar. PineCreek is now a Muslim. Alhamdulillah. Oh, I'm a Muslim now. Look at that. Aren't all atheists like half Muslims? Because we say there is no God, and then we just forget the but Allah part. But yeah, I was going to show a clip of a video. I want to say this. It is so incredibly hard to talk to theists. I'd say most theists. Deeply held beliefs. You need so much patience. You need so much correct wording. Like there's a lot of Christians who can't stand my humor and my sarcasm, and they're gone. Like if I truly wanted to impact as many Christians as possible, I would just be so lovey-dovey and so careful with every word I speak. Like, why is this? Why can't a guy like myself truly believe that Christianity is false, truly believe Islam is false, basically all the religions of the world that I'm aware of? Why can't a guy like me truly say this, I believe it's false, and actively, not all the time, but actively in some cases, try to lead people away from what I deem as false? Why is that bad? The reason why I say this is because I just watched a long video of abstract, what's his name? Sorry, Nathan. His YouTube channel starts with abstract. And I just watched a long video of him talking to a guy named Daniel Ray, a Christian. And this guy, this Christian Daniel, he's just really upset that people who practice street epistemology, for example, are trying to lead people away from Christianity. Now, if you truly believe that Christianity, number one, is false, and number two, at least certain branches of it is harmful, which I think all Christians agree with, why is that bad to actively try to lead someone away from something that you think is false and potentially harmful? If Christianity is indeed false, Christians, would you admit that my channel and channels like mine are doing a great and noble thing? The Muslims are cheering. Allah Akbar, right? But when Christians actively go out and try to lead people towards Christ, I mean, I like it. You're passionate, you believe what you believe, and you're like, I'm not trying to stop you. I love street preachers, for example. And I do think religion does a lot of good in the world. But it seems like some Christians, they can't stand that there's people like me out there who lead people away from Christianity or Islam. You should be saying, yes, at least Doug is not apathetic, right? Wow. In my old age, I'm getting apathetic on certain things. The room's open. You just click on the link on the top. The Spirit of God is compelling you. I know it. There's Christians listening right now, besides Otangelo, who are feeling that tingling in their belly. All you do is click the link, and then you can obey the Holy Spirit. If you don't click the link, you're disobeying the Holy Spirit. Yeah, I was disavowed from Canada, Kipp, because I couldn't skate. No skating, no hockey. Hello, is your son home, Doug? Yes. We have to deport him to the United States for not being able to play hockey. Okay. True story. I said apathetic, not pathetic. According to Christians, when they try to convert people, they're being loving. When atheists try to lead people away from religion, they're being fanatical or evil. Yes, Blastermaster 80. You make a good point. If Christianity is true, I'm still providing a great, great service to Christians. I'm separating the wheat from the chaff, the weak-minded, the double-minded, the fake Christians from the real Christians. Like these three guys up here, these are the real deal. These are real Christians. But not everyone is like them. And it's my job to help these people here. Like, Jonathan Pritchett, you should welcome deconstruction if they're the fake Christians, right? That are bogging the church down, those gossipers, those fornicators, those who mock God and yet call themselves Christians, those who divide the church. Send them my way. I will make sure they will stay out of your church forever. I will help you, Jonathan. I will help you, Braxton. I'm pretty good at it. God knew before the creation of the earth that they were doomed for hell anyhow. So just let them go. Can I get an amen from Calvinists? Come on, Christians. You're feeling the tingling in your belly. You know the Holy Spirit's leading you to call in and click that link. Will you disobey today? Or will you hear the call, respond in an act of faith? I'll be a pussycat. I'll be nice. Thanks, Paul Sparks. I'm not sure if I'm giving a sermon now, but I'm having fun. No way. Saskatoon? Where are you? Minus 42. Minus 42 Celsius. For those Americans here, that's basically minus 42 Fahrenheit. You know how cold that is? Like in Canada, they define the wind chill by how long it takes for your nose to fall off. Your nose will fall off at minus 42 in about 3 minutes. I actually like this. I like the fact that I'm opening up my show, my live stream, to theists only, Christians and Muslims, Jews, whatever, and no one's calling in. I love it. I love actually the awkward silence of it. In a way, it's vindication that my job is done. What's that? Good and faithful servant, Satan? That's what you called me? Oh, come on. Now you're just mocking. Yeah, shut up, Satan. Satan's a troublemaker if I ever saw one. You know, the more I learn about Satan in the corner there, the more I dislike him. How do they distinguish God's foreknowledge and human choices? Asks Hugh Jazz. That's a great question. And you could tell that Otangelo sees the problem of foreknowledge and free will. Because if God knows something, don't give me this coercion business and forcing business. But if God knows something, then what he knows will come to pass. What he knows about the future. If not, God knew wrong. We are in time. If God knows in time what will happen, and if God's never wrong about his foreknowledge, then what will happen will happen. That's why Calvinists are determinists, because they agree with what I just said. Kipp, you can't put labels on Satan, although Satan does look like, oh, what's the actress's name from Bedazzled? Satan looks just, I wish I could turn my camera, but it's kind of locked in where it's at. But the actress from Bedazzled, is she British? Satan looks just like her, sitting in the corner wearing a red dress. Beautiful. Thank you for the donation, Tacit Residence. You stole that joke from Norm MacDonald. No, I did not steal that joke from Norm MacDonald, because Norm MacDonald is dead. Oh, that was cruel. Yeah, you're the one about the more I learn about Satan, the more I don't care for him. Yeah, that's a Hitler. Norm MacDonald said that about Hitler. And if Norm MacDonald is in heaven right now or in hell looking up, and he heard me say that joke about him being dead, he'd be laughing. Trust me. Elizabeth Hurley, yes. Satan looks just like Elizabeth Hurley. And Elizabeth Hurley, I would love for you to call in, because then Satan can meet his, what do you call it, doppelganger? Does she still act in anything? Elizabeth Hurley? What does she look like? She must be old now. She must be like old like me. Elizabeth Hurley. How old is she? She's 56. Yeah, she's 5 years older than me. 5'8". Wow, she's tall. Put her in like 4-inch heels and you got a 6-footer. Okay, what does she look like today? I'll try to find the ugliest picture of her today. Okay, this is maybe why there's a God. Okay? I'm going to give you the best evidence for God. 56 years old. Don't give me the Kalam cosmological argument. Don't give me the ontological argument. Give me the argument from beauty. No, not me, her. The argument from beauty. Okay, maybe there's a God. 56 years old. She is a freak. You're looking at a freak of nature. Freaks of nature, like Elizabeth Hurley, evidence of God. I dare any atheist to disagree with that logic. Kate Beckinsale, yeah, pretty good too. Tom Selleck, let's be fair. Let's bring up some men. Even Clint Eastwood. He's like, what is Clint Eastwood, 123 now? Looks pretty handsome. Hey, humongous. I'm taller than Elizabeth Hurley. Honest. No disagreement there, Hugh Jazz. PineCreek, your wife is behind you. My wife would be applauding. I've said many times that the best evidence for a deity is the argument for beauty. But then what happens is I see ugliness. I go to Walmart, and then the argument soon passes. You go to the beaches in California, you believe in God. You go to Walmart, you don't. That's how it works. Hey, thank you for the donation of Wichita. Okay, this is just waste now. A $20 donation from my head office in Wichita, which YouTube will take a cut. Doug, you've been doing such a great job representing the home office. You deserve a New Year's bonus and some Applebee's money. The big guy told us you've been a good and faithful servant. Well, there you go. Well, I'm feeling a little verklempt. Thank you. I appreciate It's good to get recognized by your bosses for the job you do. Like, I tell you, I'm just the front man. I'm like Muhammad. But if you guys knew all the work that goes behind the scenes at the Wichita Home Office, you would be amazed. Hundreds and hundreds of employees, mostly Mennonite kids. Hundreds and hundreds of Mennonite kids slaving away hour after hour, editing and finding videos. It's with their little black suits. I think the best argument for God is a sense of humor. Yes, Trevor Lynn. When you look at me, you see the face of God. True story. Am I blushing? I think I was blushing a little bit. Christians, Muslims, the room's open, last chance. I'll be ending the stream probably in 20 minutes or less if you don't call in. If you want the stream to go on, pick up that phone right now. Thanks, Adam, again. No better bonus than some good old sweet shekels. I like a good shekel in the morning. Oh, I'm having too much fun. This is not good. Okay, who do we got here? Oh, Dr. Kipp. Dr. Kipp, you're not a theist. I'll give you 2 minutes just because I like you and you're Canadian. Oh, yeah, look at that ear. Don't worry, I'll fix you. Maybe I'll fix you. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Really? Happy New Year, Doug.
Happy New Year to you and yours. How's your son doing? Is he finished with the grounding?
Oh,
because your son took the car out in the middle of the night, right?
Yeah.
Underage.
Yeah. So how long was he grounded for when I talked to you last?
I thought you said like a month, 2 weeks.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, because what happened was, after he served his grounding, and I'm not kidding, like the next day, he did it again.
Okay, Kipp, I want you to listen to me carefully. I want you to get him in a car, and I want you to drive him to Trinity Radio, and and I want Braxton and Jonathan will fix your kid. I mean, if Jesus can't fix him, nothing can.
Are they like Bill Goddard? Do you remember that guy?
No.
I should probably not even talk about him. He's the crazy guy.
Is your son there right now?
No. He's the crazy guy who fixed Josh Duggar.
Oh. Yeah.
Will they fix him like that? So
I think this problem is easier to fix than Josh Duggar's problem.
Maybe. I just told him he's driving for a long time. So and we just regularly hide all the keys now. But what can you do, man? My kids are out of control.
How many do you have?
So I have 3. But my oldest is 22.
Are you older than me? Oh, no. You are?
I don't know. How old are you?
I'm 50, almost 51.
Okay, no, I'm not older than you.
But you know why you have older kids than me? Because the Lord saw it fit not to give us children the natural way.
Both of us.
I bought my kids at Walmart.
I got mine from the Sears catalog. Do you remember the Sears catalog?
Oh yeah, I hid them in the bush behind the house. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Oh, those Sears catalogs. Those were the good old days.
So they were.
Yeah, where you could lick the pages and.
I'm snowed in today.
Let me see. Wow, that's beautiful.
Look at that.
You know, this is making me feel nostalgic, like seriously. Because it's been a long time since I've seen that. That's your neighbor's yard?
Yeah.
Where's your backyard?
So Well, it's on this side of the fence. See, there's the fence.
Okay.
So, yeah. But my yard is, I guess, out there. There's an old
wow.
trampoline down there that nobody
No,
uses
do
anymore.
that. Show that shot again. Let me look at that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's beautiful.
Actually, if you go, it's a pretty nice place. So we live on a big hill and look down at the peasants in the valley.
Well, that's why I liked it, because it's grandeur.
The temple of Yahweh is just up there, and we restrict access just to people who live on the hill here.
Yeah,
like the good Yahwists.
Yeah, I live in a gated community too. Like if people who don't belong in our community touch the gate, just like the Ark of the Covenant, they shrivel up and die.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So what's the latest gossip between Dr. Falk and Inspiring Philosophy? Are you guys all good and friends now? Or?
Are we all? So I mean, we're in different places. I chat occasionally with Inspiring Philosophy.
Behind the scenes, privately?
Yeah.
What's he like behind the scenes?
Super chill. So, like, I don't know. On his videos and his streams, he always strikes me as kind of intense. But in my interactions with him, he's been pretty chill.
Do you ever talk about me?
Always.
Did he see that video when you came on and Dr. Josh?
We haven't talked about that.
Okay.
But if I talk to him again, might be talking to him again here in a couple weeks. I'll bring it up. Dr. Falk and I are not on such good terms. So I don't know if you noticed, but I made a video where I talked about a couple of the many things that he's wrong about, and he didn't like that. And so was it yesterday or the day before, I published a long essay which further demonstrated that he just doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. So, and he doesn't like it when I do that. So,
does he have a PhD?
He does, in Egyptology, which is, it's like Egyptian texts and culture and history, but that's not, it's not the same thing as biblical studies. Or
you'd be better off being criticizing Mormonism then, right?
I don't know, maybe. Because I have no idea. I don't know anything about Mormonism. What do you know about Mormonism?
Well, they have lots of kids. They're all blonde. They congregate in Salt Lake City usually.
Oh, I'm starting to think you only know about Mormonism from South Park.
No.
Did you ever see that episode?
Yeah, they even talk about Mennonites on South Park. But Mormonism has a lot of advantages over Christianity because they don't believe in the traditional view of hell. Mm-hmm. They just call it like the terrestrial heaven or something. And they're very family oriented. In Christianity, when you die, you lose marriage, but not in Mormonism. So it's really family oriented. Yeah. So just like the Fast and Furious series, Mormonism will continue forever.
That's good. I know this about Mormonism too, which I think is probably maybe, but I'm not sure. It could be better than Christianity traditionally. But I know that Mormons don't have like a paid clergy. I think that's right. That they actually, like the big churches, the Mormon churches that we have, that you see, are like, it's all like volunteer labor.
Yeah, but the guys at the very top, they're banking
Oh,
coin.
I'm sure they get paid.
Yeah.
I have a friend actually. The guy that I did the critique video on, David Falk, Dr. Dan McClellan. He's a Mormon. He actually works for the LDS Church. I assume you have to be a Mormon to work for the LDS Church.
Isn't that amazing that you got highly educated people? He's a PhD as well, I'm assuming, or no?
Oh yeah. And he did his PhD work with Francesca Stavrakopoulou. Is that a name you?
Is that the good-looking, dark-haired girl? Woman? Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
the rather outspoken atheist biblical scholar from the UK at the University of Exeter. So I mean, and yeah, his scholarship is quality. Like, it's really, really good. But this is the thing, right? Like, in my field, it's not like we sit around, sort of poking around at each other for what church you go to or don't go to. You just, either you produce good work or you don't.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So yes, I do have a Mormon friend, but
I have a black friend.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, he donated today. I think maybe even twice.
Awesome. Is that your one black friend?
Yeah, my one black friend. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have one black friend and one black wife.
Well,
and 2 mocha children.
Cool. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. I'm doing my part.
That's neat, man.
I'm doing my part to end racism. See, all you flag-waving phonies people who say you want to end racism and stuff, to me, you're not serious until you reproduce with someone of the opposite skin tone.
Is your wife also from Canada originally, and was and you were both exiled?
Yeah. Well, no, she just came with me because that's what a good Christian wife does. But her parents are from Trinidad.
Oh, cool. You know what? I have to tell you this. My I was in years and years ago. I was like in Bible college because I was training to go into the ministry, and the very first position that I had was as like a youth pastor, associate pastor type in a small church.
You have that youth pastor look.
Thanks, man. I don't know how to take that. But it was in a small church, small Baptist church in the city of Calgary. And the senior pastor, my first mentor, was from Trinidad. And he was something else.
Oh yeah.
But
those Trinidadians are amazing. You get them excited in their own language, their own dialect. They'll just, wow.
He used to do this thing though, and I didn't know how seriously to take him. He used to, whenever he was at the house, he was always scared of the dogs, and he always used to talk about how much he loved eating dogs because I said something that they. Yeah, so I was like, "Is that real?" Or...
Yeah, no, we don't talk about that here.
Okay.
But you know Gretzky, right? Of course,
Yeah.
you're Canadian. Yeah.
Does he live in your gated community?
No. His daughter, what's her name? Does.
Really?
Yeah, she's pretty good
wow.
looking. Yeah. So, but anyhow, she and her son sometimes watches, and her son just donated. Vane Gretzky, $10. Thank you, Doug. You may not be able to escape, but you truly are the Wayne Gretzky of YouTube atheists.
You're a liar.
Hey, look for yourself. It's in the live stream chat.
I'm looking. I don't see it.
Well, it's high up. The donation was like 10, 15 minutes ago.
Really? Oh, geez. Wow. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, but Wayne doesn't call me anymore, but...
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's something I said. I told him that Mario was a little bit better than him.
It must be. I don't have many. Can I tell you about my brush with celebrity?
Sure, yeah. I love brushes with celebrity.
I have one.
Besides me.
So I was... Okay. Wow. I have two. So in 2005, and this is actually there's I posted a video. I was in this isn't my brush with celebrity, at least I don't consider it, but I was in like the background of an episode of The Naked Archaeologist back in 2005. I posted a clip from it on my channel. It's kind of funny, but I was in Jerusalem 2005 working with Peter W. Flint and Eugene C. Ulrich, who are the Scroll Scholars, on manuscripts of Isaiah at the Shrine of the Book in the Israel Museum. And we were there. While we were there,
Mel Gibson, you saw him?
2005. No. While we were there, we were staying at the King David Hotel, which is like it's a big, fancy, pretty. I think it's a diplomatic hotel.
Did they have
Jerusalem.
a Bathsheba pool where all the women were topless?
Maybe but they didn't. They didn't give me the key to it. But we found out while we were there that President Jimmy Carter was staying in the same hotel because he was at the same time doing peace talks, right? And my mentor, Professor Peter Flint, was so excited about the fact that Jimmy Carter was there. And sure enough, like when we showed up in the lobby, you could see like the Secret Service people in the lobby and stuff. And so he actually went up to one of them and he had like a copy of one of his books and tried to sign it and give it to the Secret Service guy to give to President Jimmy Carter, and they wouldn't take it, just not at all. So this was 2005, right? It was at the point when the internet was maybe not in its infancy, but still kind of new. I had a young family and I was away from home for 10 days, so I had to check in like every day with Lisa and the kids, and so I would go around in the morning. I'd look for places in the hotel that had like a really good internet connection. I could sit down and type and emails and touch base with Lisa and the kids and stuff. So one morning I found like this, and it's a huge hotel. I found like this one section that was sort of on its own, and it had like a little breakfast buffet. It was really nice, and the internet connection was great. So I went there, I did my thing, and then the next morning I went back there, and it was suddenly full of people. Like there was like 20 people in there, and I went up. I did my email and stuff, and I went up to get breakfast, and I went to grab the tongs for the pancakes. But then, the guy standing beside me was also grabbing the tongs for the pancakes. And I looked up and it was Jimmy Carter. The Jimmy Carter. And I just looked at him.
And you locked eyes and it was true love.
It was amazing. And he just said to me, "Good morning." And I was like, "Hi." But I was so excited about this that I raced down to like the main breakfast area to tell my friend and mentor, Peter Flint, that I just ran into Jimmy Carter upstairs, because he was like, he was so excited about.
But weren't there Secret Service people
Jimmy
around
Carter.
you, like grabbing the tongs for him or something?
Well, they weren't grabbing the tongs for him, but it was only after the fact that I noticed the 20 people in there were like the Secret Service people, and they were, apparently I'm not much of a threat. They didn't really care that I was grabbing the tongs, but my friend Peter had the most amazing reaction though when I told him I saw Jimmy Carter upstairs eating breakfast. He jumped up from the table and he starts fumbling around in his bag and he's going, my book, I gotta get my book. Because he was then gonna go run upstairs.
That's quite something that you almost touched hands with the. Is he the only one-term president? No, he's like the second or third.
Yeah, I don't think he's the only one-term president. There's a couple from like years and years back, though.
But a lot of people say that he was the
But-
worst president of all time because of the inflation thing that happened during his tenure.
Yeah, I know. He just seemed like such a nice guy.
Oh, he is nice.
And he builds houses.
And he's the only true Christian
He
who's ever
builds
been
houses,
president.
right? That's true too. He is the only true Christian who has ever been president. But yeah, so that's it for me.
Anyhow,
But,
I got
someone
one
knocking.
Yeah, someone's knocking. Mountain Show.
Oh, I only I popped in because it looked like you were lonely. So.
Oh no, I'm never lonely. I got
Yeah.
Satan in the corner. I'm good. But
Oh,
but
right.
but thank you for the view and the story and the fun.
Yeah.
And someday,
man.
if you ever come out to where I live, I'll introduce you to the Gretzkys.
Please do.
Okay.
And someday I'll put in a good word for you, and maybe they'll let you back into Canada someday.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. Well, not with COVID, but
No, well, no.
Yeah.
All right.
See ya.
Later, Doug.
Hey, I remember you.
Hello, Doug. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
The year of our Lord, 2021 or 2022.
Yeah,
It's
2022.
it's not the year of Muhammad. That's why Christianity is true. That's actually an argument. So I wanted to ask you something about the state of atheism. I'm pretty sure you saw the recent Pew thing that came out with people leaving the United States like it's
Yeah.
lowest of all time and stuff. So just to give you a little background here, I was never part of the American Protestant evangelical, Jesus lives in your heart denomination of Christianity. I actually grew up in the Catholic, just normal Catholic.
I'm sorry.
Nominal. Just nominal, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but here's the thing though, like, in trying to study all this stuff about like, the evangelical side and what you guys are going through and seeing what's going on with the not retaliation, but the contrary view of atheism, it seems to me that that this particular tradition that you came from was just almost like Islam, like a cult almost, in the sense of like.
Yeah, I would say because any type of fundamentalist type Christianity will, like, as I don't know if you saw the beginning, but people like Tim Burnett, they'll say, yeah, God can smite whoever he wants. Calvinists are very much like Muslims. This is why I think James White gets along with Muslims so well.
Right.
But yeah, but Pentecostals, they're the charismatic types. They're, I would say, even more cultish because they're more controlling. The background I came from, not so much, but the Pentecost will tell you almost some branches will really advise heavily on who to marry, what jobs to have.
Right. It seems because I'll be honest with you, like I'll go to a Catholic church on Sunday. I'll go this Sunday if I wanted to, and I'll have no problems. There are people, half the people sitting in the pews, they probably don't buy into half of this stuff.
Yeah.
There are not only that, there are probably bishops, priests. In fact, I know bishops and priests that it's like, yeah, was Jesus really God? They'll say, nah, probably not. And it's like not a problem. That's the thing. Like this is what just doesn't jive in my head. In your tradition or that Protestant evangelical tradition, it's like, no, you got to think this way. You got to do Bible study 4 hours a day. You can't go to this grocery store. And honestly, where all of this came from is early on in my 20s, I started studying Islam, Sunni Islam, Shia Islam, like really in depth. And it's, Christianity is supposed to be what they call an antinomian religion. Well, Islam's the exact opposite. It's kind of like Judaism, where there are rules like how you like wash your face and go to the bathroom, all this kind of stuff. And it rang true with what I'm seeing in terms of like, hey, Alyssa, Pastor Mike Winger, can we go see this movie? Can we eat this food? Are vegetables bad? And I'm like, wow, this is almost exactly like the Islam thing, where you have to have a fatwa on certain rules and things to do. It's like,
but my guess is
so bizarre.
My guess is that there are branches of Roman Catholicism that are just as cultish as Protestants.
Probably.
Yeah. So, but I do think there's more I don't know how to phrase it, mainline type Roman Catholics who just don't care. They just like the majesty of the room and it feels good, the community. Yeah.
Yeah, just I mean, the simple thing is like I used to be an altar boy. Now, when I was a kid, now had things been different, like God forbid a priest did something wrong or whatever, and had a bad experience. You know what I'm talking about? I'd have a whole different like I hate Catholicism, I hate the Catholic Church, and all that kind of stuff. So
You hate
I see
it?
where what's that?
You hate it?
No, I would if
Oh,
a
okay.
priest did something bad to me. You know what I mean, as a kid or whatever.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
But since something like that happened, it's just like, go in hour a week or something like that. Take your communion or not,
But can you
and
go
then
in?
just leave.
But can you feel good about going into a Roman Catholic church knowing that they've had that problem with other people? Like
What do you mean?
knowing that the Catholic Church has a history of, because of their more celibate type Christians, that they do abuse kids more than other religions, Christian religions at least, and a part of me would feel icky just being there.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a good point. Like, am I going to be angry about the 30 Years' War? Probably not. Or the sex abuse scandals or all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I see what you mean. Like, I can't really abide by that. But it made me think about the larger issue. Like, I know you're not this way, but when I think of like the atheism that comes in, and I think of like just a normal guy walking down the street, and he's an Orthodox Jew, and he's got his kippah on and his payos and all that kind of stuff. Normally, he's just minding his own business. The atheist, metaphorically to me, is the guy that goes up to him, slaps that thing off his head, and says, "Hey, man, come on, all that stuff is crap. Live your life." I know that's not what you do in your style, but some atheists are like that. And so to me, it's just like, okay, well, where does it go from there? It's like, people are leaving, religion, all that kind of stuff. And somebody just lost their son in a fentanyl overdose. What do you say to them? I mean, how do you oh, well, because you can't say like, oh, my thoughts and prayers. People say that my thoughts and prayers are with you, but I'm not praying to anybody about their loss.
Well,
I mean, I would, but
in that situation where someone just lost their son to a drug overdose, I would say that sucks, man. You'll never ever see your son again. Cry and mourn as much as you need. Get help, as much help as you need from other humans. Life sucks and it's not fair. And because I really believe that what I just said is the truth.
Right.
And if you try to sugarcoat it in any other way, you're going to do, I think, more damage than good.
But is that practical though? I mean, in terms of like, like actually saying that to somebody, like, I mean, or do you just can't?
Well,
sugarcoat it?
Well, I'm of the opinion that most people at funerals, at Christian funerals, if you look at them, they're not celebrating, they're crying, and most of them. But if they believe that their loved one who's passed on is indeed a Christian, they should be celebrating because now they're in heaven. But they're not, which tells me a part of them either really still doubts this or they just don't believe it, and they're using this religion as a crutch to not mourn properly. Like both my in-laws died, the ones from Trinidad that I was talking about earlier. And the uncle, my wife's uncle, the brother of the deceased, my father-in-law, he gave one of the most, I don't remember exactly, but one of the most powerful speeches at a funeral. It was an open casket. He looks right down at the dead body of his brother and basically said, "You are dead and you'll never live again. There lies a corpse." And it was a poem that he was reciting. I forget which poem, but it was like the most honest, descriptive, clear view of death I've ever heard in my life. And it was powerful. People were weeping, and so you can really mourn when you tell the truth like that. And so many times I think when I see Christian funerals or probably even Islam funerals that they're just, oh, we're going to see so-and-so again. And it takes away from the reality. I don't know. That's just my opinion, but I think people can mourn better as atheists.
That's interesting. I should do a show on that because I'd be curious because like I just go along with the charade. Like if somebody was sick, their child was sick, and they're in the hospital, I'm just like, yeah.
I talk about death with my kids often. I tell them almost not on a daily basis, but once or twice a week, I'll tell them, look, I'm going to be dead someday, and you're going to have to learn how to do stuff without calling dad for help. And so I want to train you today on how to be independent and do things for yourself, because you're not always going to have me. And I think that's good to talk about death often, not too often, but not shy away from it. It's a reality, and to face it, like even as an atheist, you can look it right in the eyes. Part of the thing that fuels religion is this fear of death. And if you can get through that fear or by that fear by just accepting it's a reality, and to use that reality to view every minute as precious today, I don't think you have to sugarcoat. This is the way it is, and it sucks, but we can get through it together.
Interesting. Can I ask you a personal question regarding that? I mean, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but when may you live and be well until 150, as the Jews say. But if that day does happen when you do pass away, do you think I don't want to be buried in a cemetery with the church service, or have you thought about that far? Because that your family's gonna go through with the motions.
Well, by the time I die, assuming I don't die in an accident, my parents will be dead. My wife knows where I'm coming from, so I think she'll be sensitive to that. Same with my kids. So I think the people who know me the best will know how to conduct the funeral. But the funerals are for the living, not for the dead, because the dead are dead. And so really it's up to them.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
But I would like to be buried next to my father, grandfather, and great-grandfather, because right now my great-grandfather and my grandfather are buried in the same plot. So it'd be nice to have all four last names right next to each other.
Okay. Well, I'm coming. If that happens, I'm coming to your funeral. I'm blessing the casket with holy water. I'm gonna say 10 Hail Marys. I'm gonna say hallelujah, hallelujah. Doug is going to get out of purgatory and straight to heaven with Jesus.
I want you to open that casket, look right down, and say, "There lies a dead man. He's a corpse. Tell the truth. No longer here."
Yeah.
But I will live on. I will live on in perpetuity because of the PineCreek YouTube channel.
That's true. That is true.
I will never die. Yeah. As long as Google's alive.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. You do. You've made your contribution to, unless a meteorite hits us all, then we're out. Then that's it.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, thanks for hopping on. I got a couple other callers.
Adios, Doug. You have a good one. Stay alive for me, so I can stay entertained.
Okay. See ya. Someone said this is a buzzkill. No, not a buzzkill at all. Talking about death is the real stuff. There was another person here, but now it's just AA Ron. Seriously, who wants to talk to AA Ron? Do I want to talk to AA Ron?
I don't know. Do you?
Depends. What do you have for me?
I don't wear my glasses when I'm at the computer because I'm nearsighted. I don't need to, but I really feel like, Dad, is that you?
I have those glasses here somewhere. I was trying to find them.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I think about that sometimes. It's like, am I going to age this gracefully?
Like me?
I hope so. Yeah. Good-looking guy like you, Doug, or at least age confidently.
Yeah.
Or at least confident about the way you look, even if.
Well, you know what I do is I try to be good around the house, because if the women don't find you handsome, they sure better find you handy.
Gosh, You're just one cliche after another. Hey, so you started talking about death, and so I came running because for some reason I can't get enough of that existential dread that everybody else hates, but I love it.
Wow.
Okay, so I wouldn't say that I love it. It's uncomfortable at times, but for the most part. Did you ever read Harry Potter?
No, but I went on the ride.
Okay, it's exactly like that. Reading the books and going on the ride.
I tell you, the best ride,
the
one of the best rides ever is Harry Potter in Universal Studios Florida on the Universal side.
Is it the dragon?
Wow. Yeah. My goodness. I got the front seat.
And you never read the books?
No, my daughter has watched every movie and maybe has read the one book, but no, I don't read. Remember,
I would actually. So I read it for the first time, and I was prevented from spoilers, and I didn't watch the movies. Andrea was very protective for me not to see movies and get spoilers and everything, and I went through it a few years ago.
Your wife.
Andrea's my wife.
Right.
We've been dating.
Your first
now
wife.
Yeah. And we've been dating now for it's going good. It's going good. 14 years.
Do you sleep together or in separate rooms?
Oh, listen, you are not going to get me on that.
Yes, I am.
We definitely sleep in the same bed.
No, you need to stop that.
It's fantastic.
No, it isn't.
It is, Doug.
The coitus is fantastic. I trust you there. Well,
the coitus is fantastic. Yes,
sorry, I don't know anything. No,
it is.
We've never met. But I'm saying that you can always sleep better alone.
I know that you believe this, but maybe you keep saying
this is my religion.
You're trying to make yourself believe it.
Now you're starting to sound like a Christian.
Oh no. Okay, so the reason I bring up Harry Potter was Harry, like that series is phenomenal, by the way. And I would actually recommend it to anyone who is facing death. If someone in my life came up with a terminal illness, I would prescribe you go read the Harry Potter series, because I feel like it's a great way of it's a very it was an emotional roller coaster of how to deal with death and with death.
In one or two sentences, give me the answer. How do you deal with death? How does Harry Potter help?
You embrace death like a friend. And so
that's sort of what I said earlier.
This is work that you've already done. Yes, I would agree. I think you would appreciate it for that fact. I read Harry Potter when I was still a theist, but deconverting actually, I was surprised that I did not have. I guess I've been surprised that everything about being atheist is not what I thought it would be. It's like there's so many things that I was afraid of tackling mentally. It's just like a different reality that I thought that I was going to be without any kind of hope or purpose or meaning or joy or like long list of stuff. And one of those things was like I thought I would be afraid, like have existential dread all the time. And my father-in-law, who's a preacher, who's a Church of Christ preacher still today, and he said we were talking about this, and I said, do you think that I am like have existential dread like all the time? And I said, because I really haven't.
Yeah, me too. Right.
And it's weird because I used to be but were you ever afraid of having existential dread?
I had more existential dread as a Christian than as an atheist.
Yeah, why though?
Well, it's very simple. If you believe in the traditional view of hell, there's always a chance you're wrong and deceived yourself into thinking you're going to heaven. Now, as an atheist, I don't have that fear anymore.
Yeah.
And
I let go of the view of hell before I became a lefty progressive Christian, a flag waving phony Christian. Yeah.
But you also have that fear of living your life so your daddy says, "Well done, good and faithful servant," right? That whole idea of am I doing
Am I good
enough?
enough?
Am I good enough?
Yeah.
Am I doing enough?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
oh no, I'm saved by grace. Yes, I'm saved by grace. But read the book of James. It's faith without works is dead. And
Yeah.
so you really want to please your Savior.
I feel like life has, and I've heard you say this before too, that you wouldn't want to live forever. I totally get that. I totally understand now why that would be. In fact, I mean, you remember the movie Will Smith? It was is it Hancock?
Yeah.
You remember that? Where
Yeah.
he just couldn't die. He was so pissed about it.
Yeah, he became
You
an
know?
alcoholic.
And,
yeah.
and like that makes sense why you would do that. But I think
Or the
like,
Wolverine is even more powerful. Like but finally he did die. Yeah.
Spoiler. But it's just like the beauty is in the rarity of it. So the limitation with the amount of time we have, there's real beauty. My grandmother actually died this past week, and my last grandparent to still be alive. And actually, my cousin said that to me today. That what you said, that the funeral is for the living, because we were talking about funeral and. But I think that I've never been to a funeral where somebody's been really honest about death. The worst funeral that I thought I had been to was a friend of mine who his mom's preacher got up and bragged about the building fund for the church that he was working, and was like, he was talking about church budget at a funeral for a man. I thought that was the worst. But then I realized, no, the worst was actually for my sister-in-law who passed. And then I heard a really good Baptist sermon about the manipulation, about how we have to keep running this race so we'll see her again someday. And they like doubled down almost in an altar call style. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But I know what I would want to hear is like what you said about like embracing death and like really digging in and like feeling it for what it is. But I don't know. Like I do wrestle with these days with like, what do I say to somebody who is freshly grieving? I say like all I've figured out to say is breathe deeply and know that you're not alone. And what do you say though?
I don't think you have to say anything, really. You just have to be there, maybe. Just be in the same room. Sometimes silence is very powerful. Well, you know that. Like, if you watch my channel, I say awkward silence is powerful. Well done. Excellent. And I broke before you, so like 1,000 pine points to you.
We felt, hey, those are my first pine points.
There you go.
I think I can take him over to T-Jump's channel and get a good exchange rate on him too. He's over there hawking pine points. At least that's one. There was a video that I saw once where he was hawking pine points.
My goodness.
Yeah, he was giving them away. I think he's like deflating your whole currency system.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Hey, Bruno? Yeah. You need to... Yeah, I know you're busy with the other guy, but I need you to pay a visit to T-Jump. Yeah, do it by tonight. Thanks.
You have your own guy?
I got guys.
You have guys?
We're not going to hurt them. Just rough them up a bit.
So, yeah, I think just be present with people and...
Yeah, just be there.
Yeah. It's like
sometimes just walk in the room and just sit down, not say a thing, and just be there.
You know, it does feel cheap. I guess it feels more meaningful to say, like, that sucks, rather than to be the guy who feels like, to start getting waxing poetic and about on scripture and stuff like that. But all right.
Yeah,
well,
I got a Muslim who wants to
feel
come in.
done. I feel done. But hey, tell Satan that I'm sorry for always running right over him when he was in the way in those children's songs that I sang. I feel guilty about my driving habits around him.
Did you hear that, Satan? Yeah, he said didn't make a dent.
What? That guy's a bad ass.
Yeah. Thank you for whispering it.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Say hi to the wife for me.
Oh, will do. Later.
See ya. Norwegian Islam.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
8.9 out of 10.
That's not too bad.
That's pretty good.
I would say that's perfect. So, I hear that you was talking about hell. So I was thinking about why do you want to think about hell?
Oh, I don't. I mean, I have fun with hell.
Okay.
When I do talk about it.
What is funny about hell?
Nothing's funny about it, but I have fun with it by using it against Christians sometimes.
Okay. Yes. Like you see, I am Muslim.
Yeah, you believe in hell, a version of hell too, though, right?
I do, yes.
Yeah. Wow.
I would not say I'm scared about it. I don't worry too much about it. Maybe I am naive.
Yeah, I think if hell is real, you should be scared.
Why would I be scared if I think I will not go there?
Because there's a chance you might go there. Right? There's always a chance.
I think the chance is very low.
Why is that?
Because I do as good as I can, and God will know that I have done as good as I can.
Yeah, but even the smallest sin is like huge in the eyes of Allah. Right?
Yes, I would agree.
And you do small sins, right? Every day.
I sin all the time. I'm not perfect.
So when Allah looks at you, he's disappointed many, many times.
I think it is the degree of disappointment.
So you're saying that just because you're better than maybe someone who kills 5 innocent children, that's maybe why you won't go to hell? Because there's worse people out there?
I think so, yes. I think also that I think there's different types of sin, yes. I believe there is. I don't think there would be justice in a just God. If he's good as God is justified, I don't think he would do it on just terms.
Yeah. Yeah, but like, why do you believe hell exists at all? Like, there's no way. Is there a way we can falsify it? It's not like we can go there and check, right?
No, sadly. I guess you maybe can read Dante's Inferno, but I don't know. But
yeah.
But no, I mean, I personally believe in hell because I also believe in the justified system.
Okay, so without hell, then there's no justice.
That's correct.
Do you believe that hell's eternal?
No.
Okay.
I don't see a reason why God would put you in hell for eternity now.
But how do you define like what is just and what is not? Isn't that up to Allah?
Oh, definitely.
So if Allah says it's just for someone to be punished forever and ever and ever, then that's just, right?
I don't agree to that, PineCreek, and I will tell you why. I think then we are not talking about the same God. I think you are making a God that I don't believe in.
But did you make a God that you do believe in?
Good question. Yes, I think I did. Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of people do is even within each religion, there's slightly different views of the God that just happens to match their personality type or their background. Like if you come from a very honor-driven or justice-driven background, then you're going to view God as one of honor and one of justice. If you come from a background with much mercy and compassion, you're going to view God with he's a God of mercy and compassion. It's, to me, that's evidence that, hey, I think we humans are just making things up.
I mean, let's say God does not exist. What have I lost?
Well, your God in your head that you believe, if that God if that God doesn't exist, what have you lost? Well, if the Christians are right, if the evangelical Protestant Christians are right, you are going to hell because you reject Jesus Christ as God.
Yes.
So you've lost your eternal salvation.
Is it okay that I then will bring that up to God?
Is it okay if what?
If I bring that up to God.
Oh no, your knee will bow, your tongue will confess that he is God, and he is just, and that he will punish you by not letting you into heaven.
I don't think that God exists.
It doesn't matter what you think or believe. If this God exists, it exists. You see how easy it is? Like,
well, I don't really worry about it. That's the thing, because I don't think so. I'm a bit naive, and I do think that.
Well, there's practical things. You don't even have to think about hell. Like, if you stop believing in God, you no longer would have to pray in a certain direction 5 times a day, right?
But I love praying.
You love it.
I really do.
Okay.
Yes. It keeps. So for me, it is a break from work. It is a way to concentrate about something else. I love doing it because it brings me. I see it almost like a meditation kind of thing. Me forcing myself doing it 5 times a day reminds me of that there's more to life than just work.
Okay, I understand
So
that, but you could do that. Is there anything you don't like about Islam right now?
Yes.
What's that?
There are things about Islam I don't really
like. What?
Like, I think the fundamentalist I don't like.
Okay. But for you personally, like you said, you like praying 5 times a day. Is there things you don't like personally about Islam?
No, not really.
You? No.
No. I can't think of anything. Can you give me an example?
No, I can't give you an example because it's your life. But I guess, see, with the one thing you did bring up, the fundamentalists in Islam who might be chopping people's heads off and so forth. Let's say they were in here right now and I asked them, what do you like about Islam? And they say, I love to pray 5 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
So they get the benefit that you got, but they got the baggage of killing people because of their beliefs. I think praying 5 times a day can be replaced, like you said, just with meditation, right?
Sure, but I think because it is at special times, I have this prayer app. It is very good in the way that it reminds me what time. I don't have to. I'm a little bit lazy, so when my phone rings, when it's prayer time, I know it's time to do it, and it's very it's nice to have something to remind you of to take a break.
So is Islam for you something you truly believe is true, or just a practical life help?
Oh, it is definitely true, or I would not follow it.
And how did you figure out that it was true?
Well, my method is a little different than others, but I did an experiment that I can't prove to you that was correct, but for me it was.
What was it?
So I took 2 Bibles and a Quran under a blanket, and I mixed it up
so I could not see the difference between the three books. And I prayed over the blanket without touching the three books. And every time I felt like a warm, how do you call it, inner peace, I opened
You played
up the
three
blanket.
card Monty with the holy books?
Yes. And I did that 3 times as well.
So 3 out of 3 times you could pick the Quran out of the other 2 books.
Yes.
I'm getting some feedback. Just turn your volume down a bit.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I must admit that's amazing, because that 3 times 3 is 9 times 3. That's a 1 in 27 chance. So how did you figure out that this was some type of divine sign, or that you got lucky 1 out of 27 times?
Good question. So I did it also 3 times without praying. And I could not pick out the Quran correctly.
Do you think you could do that right now?
Probably, yes.
Really? Oh my
Yes.
goodness, I wish I have 2 Bibles in the house, but I don't have a Quran. I tell you what if we You know what? I really appreciate your test. This is Clifford the Big Red Pen.
No, I think you're making a fool of me, but
No, I'm not. I seriously, because
Okay.
when people ask me what would it take for me to change my mind, I bring up a napkin and I soak it in water and I say, pray in the name of your God to light it on fire. Now, to me, if it lit on fire, like if you did that for me right now, I would seriously consider Islam. I would believe that there's something more to this existence, call it supernatural, because I'm not trying to trick myself. And I know water does not burn unless you put something else in it, or if you put it in the middle of the sun. But like, I know these are not real books, but I have Bible, Quran, Bible. And if I put them in an order here, in a certain order, so I have left, middle, and right, do you think you could tell me which, like 3 times in a row, which is the Quran?
Personally, no, I don't think so, because it's not the real Quran.
Okay. They're both made of paper.
Sorry. Yes.
Like, is the Quran more special than paper? Like, it's just words on
for me it is, yes.
But it's just like, I understand that the words are powerful.
I'm willing to give it a try if you really want me to, but I don't really think it will work.
Like, I do have real Bibles in here, but I don't have a real Quran.
Yeah.
Oh, but the thing is, I don't need a real Quran. All you need to know is that it's not a Bible, right? So if I got 2 Bibles, would that work? And then one is like empty, and the empty would represent the Quran.
No, I don't think. I appreciate you want to try to do this again, but I think I would give it a very, very good chance if you had the Quran, but you don't.
Okay. Now, if
I'll tell you what, I will send you. You can get a Quran for next week, and I will call back again. It's not very hard to find a free Quran online.
You're right. Now, you're being sincere with me. You're willing to try this next week?
Yes, of
so
course.
I'll get 2 Bibles and a Quran, and
yes,
you will
and
pray.
Please.
And then we'll have like left, center,
because
right.
I don't want you to know either.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. So I can get a blanket and I can just shuffle them underneath and not know which is which. And then I'll put them like left, center, right. And then we'll see if you can duplicate 3 times picking out the Quran.
I'm more than willing to do that experiment, yes.
Now, what happens if it doesn't work? What conclusions would you draw?
Can I think about that to next week?
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Okay,
yes,
so
I think it. I mean, I would say, yeah. Do you know what? I would say that that would create some trouble for me. Yes.
Okay. So, is this a good time a week from today?
Sure.
So we'll say at around, let's make it a little earlier.
A little bit earlier would be
yeah.
nice. How about like 36 minutes ago?
Okay, 36 minutes ago, 1 week from today.
Yes.
which is 4 o'clock Mountain Time in the United States. What country are you in?
Norway.
Okay, you are in Norway.
Yes. Jag kan snacka norsk.
And you can, you know what? I'll put in the chat my email. And you can email me and we can remind each other. How's that sound?
That sounds like perfect.
I love this because to me, this is like an empirical test. And I'm a science type guy. I like science and I lean empirical. And so I tell you, now, the real question is what will happen to me if you actually pull this off? Right? Do I have to become a Muslim? 1 in 27 chance?
Yeah.
But I'm almost willing to take that risk for 1 in 27. 4%?
Yeah.
3%?
Yeah. Okay. But what about this? I tell you what. If I get it correct 3 times in a row, you at least have to read the Quran. And if I get it wrong, I will donate money to your stream.
Okay. Deal.
Okay.
But you have to get it right 3 times. So 1 out of 3, 3 times.
Yes.
Deal.
Okay.
We'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week, PineCreek.
Okay.
And people that think this is gambling, it's not really gambling. I know gambling is forbidden in Islam. Don't give me that.
No, this is not gambling. This is
this is proof.
It's an empirical test.
Yes.
And your money you're giving me is just a gift. And notice I didn't ask how much. So,
no.
Yeah, it's just a gift.
I didn't say how much either.
Yeah.
It could be 1 Norwegian crown. It could be 1,000.
Yeah, I mean, $1,000, $100, $1 million, whatever you feel is best. Like, I'm not going to say no to $1 million. I'm not going to say no to 100,000. I know you Norwegians are sitting on a pile of cash.
Oh yes,
all from all your oil.
I've never heard before. Yes.
Yeah. And now I'm looking forward to next week.
Can I ask you a favor?
Sure.
When you get the Quran, that you get okay translation.
Which translation do you want me to get?
Do you mind getting the? I will tell you right away.
You can email it to me.
Yeah, I will do that.
Yeah, so I get it right.
Yes, I would love that. Yeah, but don't use too much money on it, okay?
You don't spend too much money on the Quran? I don't know how much do they cost.
I don't need either. I got mine for free.
I'm sure there's some Muslims listening right now who are willing to donate a Quran to me, but then I don't want to give out my address. So
that is the problem.
Yeah.
I would send you a Quran today.
But you know what? I admire your guts because I don't think in all the years I've been doing this, there's not one, maybe 1 or 2 Christians who have been willing to do something like this. And so I commend you.
Well, I commend you for actually inviting me. So.
Okay. Well, all the best. We'll see you in a week.
Okay.
And email me the version of the Quran.
Yes.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
I hope that this is legitimate and he's not pulling my leg. I don't think he is. It sounded like this was all in the up and up. I mean, I'll be amazed if he can do it. Ah, yes, and a Muslim can send me an Amazon gift card to buy Quran. Okay, so if there's any Muslims listening, here's the chance to give your alms to the poor in spirit, namely me, because I made a promise that if he gets this right, that not only will I get this Quran book, but I'll read it from cover to cover, which I don't do very often. I've only read a book cover to cover maybe once in my life, twice in my life, and that was the Bible. And even then, you skip Leviticus, like you get so tired. So, Muslims listening, here's your chance. Send a gift card to down there at the bottom. Write that down. If a couple of Muslims each give me like $10, I'm sure that would pay for a Quran. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they're $100. Who knows? Wow. 1 out of 3 times. Is it going to happen? You Christians, you don't have the guts to do this. You have to become a Muslim if you can do it. Well, either become a Muslim or a stock trader, and I'll have the Norwegian Muslim pick the... Here's 3 stocks, which one? Thank you for any donations I might have missed. Guts? Yeah, I used the word guts because I was raised on a farm, bread of life. My apologies to Braxton Hunter and Jonathan Pritchett and Tim Barnett. They were all scheduled to come on and give me grief, but we ran out of time.